This is Ferguson, Missouri, the potential flashpoint for the nation. Hundreds more National Guard troops have been brought in tonight. They are watching and waiting. After the violence, the riots and looting last night, there's no predicting what will happen here and in cities across America. Good evening and thanks for joining us. So many are calling for calm, including President Barack Obama, saying what happened last night cannot be repeated.
The problem is not just a Ferguson problem, it is an American problem. And we've got to make sure that we are actually bringing about change.
But right now there is so much anger and profound disappointment that the white police officer who killed an unarmed black teenager will not be charged. As Aarti reports, what happens tonight will be a sign of where things go from here.
Burned down buildings still smoldering. What's left after a night of fury in Ferguson.
We shoot back! We shoot back!
Protesters filled the streets last night. Almost immediately after hearing the grand jury's decision, rocks and bottles thrown, windows broken, police cars set ablaze, looting, gunfire.
I know this morning that there is pain in the hearts of this community. I also know that it is vital for us to understand how we got to this place and how to make it better.
More than 80 arrests in St. Louis County. Planes forced to divert from a St. Louis airport because of shots fired in the air. Law enforcement used tear gas and smoke bombs to disperse the crowds. Despite calls from the Brown family for peaceful protest, emotions were tough to control.
Everybody want me to be calm. Do you know how them bullets hit my son?
Michael Brown's mother broke down outside the Clayton, Missouri Justice Center. While she wept, demonstrators defied her wishes for calm. Actions condemned by Reverend Al Sharpton today, appearing with Brown's father.
If you're on Michael Brown's side, you stand up with pride and call to uphold the law. If you do anything to harm others, you're on your own side. You're not on Brown's side.
But they defended these comments made by Brown's stepfather.
Raw emotion, not appropriate at all, completely inappropriate.
Don't shoot!
Though overshadowed by the violence in Missouri, thousands across the country peacefully protested.
Don't shoot!
In Denver, protesters laid in the streets. In New York, they marched into Times Square. In Washington, hundreds gathered outside the White House. This morning, community members picked up the pieces of their city.
I mean, we needed to protest, we needed to express ourselves, but the vandalism, this here is not the way to do it.
They wonder why the National Guard didn't arrive here sooner. Another question emerging the morning after, given the tense situation, the threat of rioting, why announce the decision at night?
Those sorts of violent protests are less likely to happen during the day, and I think it's easier to control them in daylight.
The days ahead are expected to be tense. Dozens of protests are planned here in Washington, across the country, and around the world. The question is, can the chaos be silenced so the message can be heard? Aarti, Global News, Washington.